I should make an apology to the people who see this who don't realize, like, sort of how, or maybe we don't know what awareness people are who are seeing this. A lot of times when you guys have me switch to something like what I just said, like, I don't think, it is offensive in a objective, like, civilized sense to say, like, that the woman on the show was unattractive. Like, that's not really that's not in sort of civilized life. You don't say things like that. But the thing is, I have so much hostility towards a lot of this stuff on our news channels that, I mean, you really bring out the spiteful nature of the person. I mean, that's not really a nice thing to say. What I said, like, I don't know who would, does someone find this kind of woman attractive? I mean, that's really offensive to women. But you really, like, do sort of, like, bring out the primitive aspect of your narrator here when I hear a woman like that saying things that are just creating more hostility towards people who are in our country, who are working, who don't have citizenship, who probably can't. You don't come over the border here illegally unless you're in a desperate situation on the other side. So I'm saying, like, when I hear a woman like that saying of things that would just whoever watches a show like that just tend to put more hostility towards people who are already are in fear, are being harassed by the INS, are frightened, probably left desperate circumstances where they have a hard life, that a woman like that is spouting out stuff that doesn't make any sense, but that would tend to create hostility in whoever watches it towards the situation of the most vulnerable in our society. I get a little upset, and I mention the fact that I don't know who finds this woman attractive because, she's not intelligent, so why is she on TV? Maybe she goes over well with the demographic group. That's not really nice to say, and it's offensive to women in a sort of civilized sense. But there's a lot of hostility you trigger out in your friend when you send me over to some shit like that. I mean, I don't think that's right to do. I mean, I don't think a person like that, whoever makes a show like that, doesn't have a moral compass. By the way, they know full well they have contempt for their viewers. They do. All people who produce shows have a certain level of contempt for the idiots who soak it up. I mean, they do. I know that people like that are people I know. So they have nothing but contempt for the kind of people they're pandering to when they put stuff like this on. They probably say, like, a lot of our audience is hostile towards, people of other races. So we'll, play around with that for a while, But I mean, so I'm saying, but you have to have no moral compass, but that's who's in the TV business. I mean, they make a show like that, and they know they got xenophobic, whatever it's called, like, or people watching unemployed, hate immigrants, and, have all kinds of problems, and maybe you're drunk when they're watching it, so they know this kind of dialogue goes over. But when you direct me to it, I mean, I think it's morally insane to even make a show like that where that's who you're entertaining by feeding into the fact that they're hostile towards things that's none of their business. It's not their problem. People are in a bad situation in the country. One of the reasons a lot of people, have hatred and stuff toward, I mean, personally, this is my understanding. You see, it's why also people like watching those prison shows. Let me say something. It's very depressing and upsetting to watch those shows about prisons. It's very sad. It's very frightening. Who's eating it up? Well, a lot of people are like, they're so fucked up. The thing is, they like to see stuff like that, like to see people in solitary confinement, like to see them, getting the fights they have. They like stuff like that because their lives are fucked, and then they're not nice people, so they like seeing stuff like that. Tons of people like that. So right, I mean, this, like, who wants to see a woman like that in a tight dress saying hateful things about immigrants? Well, someone who's a fucking loser, who's by themselves on a Saturday night watching TV, not because they're in a weird thing where they don't know anyone, but no, because they're just at home drunk watching this crap. But I mean, to feed into it, I don't think is very good to do. Why don't they make a show about something nice or report on something else?